Hi crafty friends, it's Joy here for Honeybee Stamps, and today I've created a pretty wreath card using some dies from the Lovely Layers candy cane. So first I want to die cut my oval for this wreath, so I'm using the Sweet Stacks ovals. I put these two pieces together and die cut that from kind of a lighter color green cardstock. Then I am using the 3D embossing folder Snowy Pines with a really light colored green cardstock. You could also use a white cardstock here. And I have embossed that background and it's so pretty. I love 3D embossing folders. The images are amazing. And so I wanted to highlight that a little bit, and I am going to be using the Gilded Foundry wax. I'm just using my finger to lightly rub it across the embossed areas. And you do have to heat Foundry wax. It looks even prettier once it's heated, but you would heat it with a heat tool, which I will do here once I'm done putting it all over the background. And as you can see, there's of course some pine needles. You're gonna see some pine cones on the background. There's some little dots all over. So I'm trying to carefully get all of those raised areas without it getting all over the background. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going to take my heat tool and heat it up, and it does heat really quick, and you will see the change. It gets much more shiny. It's really, really pretty. So let's finish this second side here. Okay, so now for our oval, I thought it would be nice to have this dimensional. I love dimension on my cards, and so having this frame just popped up ever so slightly off the background really to me made the 3D, or excuse me, made the wreath feel more 3D. I will trim my background just maybe a 1/16 of an inch on all sides. I am going to center this oval in the center, and then we have all of this greenery. Now the greenery, the bow, the holly leaves and berries are from the Lovely Layers candy cane. So obviously I didn't use the candy cane for this, but I was able to use all of these other elements from that die set to make a completely different type of card. So I'm adding a little bit of liquid glue at the base of each one of the leaves. This is a darker kind of evergreen color, and I'm lightly tucking it underneath the previous leaves. Not gluing every inch down, so I'm not gluing the top of the leaves down. Gives this some dimension on its own because the top ends kind of lift up. But look at how pretty that is. I just think it's so, so stunning. Let's get that last greenery under there. Then we have our bow. I have die cut from a gold glitter cardstock and a gold mirror cardstock. I'm going to offset this a little bit so we can see that mirror cardstock behind the glitter, just to add a little something extra visually. The bow is going to go at the top, but I decided to put some foam adhesive behind it, 2 layers actually. I didn't want to smush down the greenery leaves that are just kind of sitting up naturally. So I'm going to pop that up, place that at the top, and then I have die cut 3 of those holly leaves and berries, and those are going to go around this wreath here. I want these to have a little bit of foam tape. They're just going to have 1 layer. Now I did put some under some of the leaves that end up hanging off. I put some foam adhesive because I kind of wasn't thinking about it. I was just putting the foam adhesive off. So make sure that the leaves that are hanging off the side of your card, don't put foam adhesive under that. So I'm just going to place these around fairly evenly. And this is a different color of green cardstock. That way it would stand out from the pine needles, basically. And then we have the holly berries, and I did that from a deeper red cardstock, all from my stash. And those will also have some foam tape. And then I can put those in place. I decided I wanted a little shiny element. Being that the bow was shiny, I thought it would be fun to make the berries shiny. So I decided to bring in the Be Shimmery watercolor from Honeybee Stamps, because I love it. I think it's so gorgeous, and I'm going to add a little bit of that to the berries. I needed to adjust that bottom leaf because it was not quite centered. So I'm going to shake that up really good. I will squeeze some out on my work surface and then just color those berries. And that's going to give it a nice little shimmer and shine. And I was pretty heavy-handed with it, but you can still see the red cardstock, and it turned out super, super pretty. Okay, so for our sentiments, I am using the Peace, Love, and Joy stamp set. I've used that a lot on my recent cards, but I just think it's so pretty. And I love the sentiments. I loved the scripty font. I just think it's darling. And I think most of the time I've colored them in. This time I'm not going to, but I am using metallic gold ink to stamp it with. So the whole sentiment reads, wishing you joy this Christmas. I'm going to use the coordinating dies to die cut these out. I'm going to tape them in place with some low tack tape, and then I can run this through my die cut machine, and I have all of my sentiments ready to go. We're going to put this inside of the wreath. So I did want my sentiments to be on the smaller side, which is why I picked the Joy sentiment, because there was some larger ones. Of course, I'm adding some foam adhesive because I love my sentiments to have foam adhesive. Then I realized I almost started gluing my sentiment wrong, in the wrong order, so I'm glad I realized that, and it actually made more sense with the layout. So all of it has foam adhesive, so let's finish this last little sentiment. And I love that you can see that Foundry wax just a little bit on the background, and there's some texture on the background. Let's take a look at this. Isn't that pretty? I love this card. I think it's so just kind of natural and pretty. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope you all have a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas. Bye.